Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. We are out in the garden today. It is Sunday. You should be seeing this on Monday. I got some flowers and some other herbs to replace some of the ones that have dwindled out. The warm weather is coming in. We're going to be in the hundreds this next weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of the ones that are like right on that edge and pop in some of these other things now so they have a few days to get acclimated and watered in. I'm also going to fertilize today. With everything going on, I have not done fertilizing in like a month, and I can tell from my plants that they need some extra nutrients, especially in containers. You need to fertilize regularly because you're washing the nutrients out. So I'm going to show you what I'm using for that as well. So I have the fish guano that I've used, which is the Monterey one. The nitrogen is 9. Nitrogen is 9, phosphate is 6, and soluble potash is 2. That's the NPK numbers. And then I also have organic Neptune's Harvest, and this one has nitrogen at 2, phosphate at 3, and potash at 1. So that just means there's more of the phosphate in this one and more nitrogen in this one. Why does that matter? Okay, so the reason why this matters is your greens need nitrogen. That's how they stay green. You can tell if there's a nitrogen deficiency, if they're starting to yellow, and so forth. But your plants that are blossoming and creating fruits and flowers need that potash. Phosphate. They need the phosphate, and the potash is for the roots. So this time around, I'm seeing yellowing on a lot of things. So I think this week I'm going to use the fish and guano because it has higher nitrogen. And then the next time I go, I'm going to go more with the phosphate, with the Neptune's Harvest. And so try to keep these balancing out, especially since I have peppers and tomatoes and strawberries and all that kind of stuff growing right now. I want to make sure that they have what they need to produce good fruits. So I'm going to go and get this going, and then I'll show you what I bought. So before I pour that in, I do want to go ahead and put my plants in because I want them to get this good nutrients. So I'm going to show you what I got. My Thai basil was really struggling, so I went ahead and got a new one. My husband really likes this with pho. So we're going to add that in, and that's going to go into that spot. It's not going to go in. Okay. Lemon balm. It didn't look like they had a bunch of aphids this time around, so I am going to go ahead and pop this into the planter over there. I also tried to restart some chive seeds like a month and a half ago, and they died, and I haven't had time to try to replant. So I went ahead and got regular chives and garlic chives. So one will be oniony flavored and one will be garlicky flavored. So I'm going to plant those in the one under by the door. And then I got another Genovese basil because I'm really craving basil. And I got some marigolds to pop in, just some colorful marigolds to help with pest pressure, but also add that pop of color in until I'm ready to put in some fall stuff. What I like is I didn't water it all yesterday, and the soil looks super dry on top. Let me show you. So the soil looks super dry on top, but as soon as you put your hand in, it is super moist in there, which is really good. That means it's doing what it's supposed to do, and the roots are getting all the moisture they need. Well, that's not too bad. Some of these I was worried they were going to be really root bound because it's so late in the season. For my area anyway. I'm in 9B, Northern California. So normally we would have already been in the hundreds, but this weather this year has been a little bit different. So I'm just pushing that dirt around that plant that I just put in. It smells so good. It smells licoricey. Super good. Okay, so my eggplant, I had beheaded it and nothing was growing on it anymore. So I went ahead and replaced it with a marigold. In that pocket I took the potatoes out of, I put a marigold in there. And then over here you saw where I put the basil, the Thai basil, and down here where the beans had been eaten by snails a long time ago, I popped in a marigold down there. And then over here I popped marigolds in. You can see one right there on the pocket, and then one up there, and I have my chives down in the back here. So the next step for today is to water/fertilize the Greenstalks. Now, you'll notice that I was making sure this was spun a particular way. These are on stands, and they just leak out right there and then have dirt all around it. This one is on our patio, and if you don't have it turned the right way, the spout that we have will just flood onto the concrete. Fish fertilizer stinks. Make sure it is pointed the right direction. You don't want that sitting where you're going to walk through it all the time and then trace it into your house, truck it into your house. So that is my advice when it comes to fish fertilizer. Know ahead of time where your water is going off to. Okay, so I'm going to go and pick this up, water these, start to do another one. And I fill the bucket about 3/4 of the way full for one of these, and I just push it through and then do the next one. Okay, now that I'm all stinky from fish fertilizer, this stuff works amazing. It's so worth the smell. I am going to go through, and everywhere I have bush beans planted right now, I'm going to go through and pop 2 more seeds into each pocket. I had a bunch not germinate well, and so because I don't want it to be an error on the side of me using old seeds, I went ahead and I grabbed these bush beans that are the Royal Burgundy bean. I grabbed these from Green Acres here locally, and I'm going to try these and just see how they do. My purple ones did not perform well. I've maybe gotten 6 all season. And then my green beans, I think I did Tongues of Fire, the Burletto bean or whatever. Those I'm getting quite a bit off of. I mean, I only have a handful of plants, but they're bush beans, so they're determinate. They're gonna stop producing here pretty soon, and already they're showing a little bit of signs of disease. So I don't know if it's disease or the snails have just gotten them or sunburn or what, but they're looking really shabby. So we are going to plant some of these into each of those pockets. As these start to grow and as those plants start to die, I can clip them off and then let the roots just disintegrate in the pot, and let these take over again. So it's kind of what I'm going to try is a succession sowing, and see how this works. We'll see. I don't know with the heat coming on the way it's about to come on. Literally we're 85 today. I mean, it's probably 70s right now as I'm recording this, and it's like almost noon. So it's going to be high of 85 today. And then we have tomorrow in the 80s. Then we'll go up to the 90s, and then we're in the hundreds for at least 3 days. That's what's on the forecast. So we'll see how these seeds do. My only saving grace might be, because seeds don't like to germinate in heat necessarily, but this area doesn't get 15 hours of sun or 12 hours of sun. It gets the 6 to 8 hours of sun. So everything here is already kind of more shaded. I can grow a lot in this, and the ones out not underneath the overhang get a little bit more sun, so that's why I like to put my peppers in there as much as possible. But we'll see how these do, if these germinate or not. I figured for $1.89 it's worth a try, and I don't have to wait for them to get shipped to me. So that's kind of what's going on now. We've been harvesting the green beans like crazy. I have little praying mantises everywhere. They are adorable. So I haven't harvested my mint yet because they have been living the life over in the mint, all those little praying mantises. So when I go through and I harvest that, I will make sure that I'm checking them for praying mantises so I can leave them in the garden, because that's going to happen here real soon. That harvest. I'm looking forward to some mint water in this 100-degree weather. So that's what we have going on over here. I'm kind of getting back into the flow of a routine. I'm fertilizing, obviously, which is a good start. And then we are harvesting, and we should hopefully soon have some ripe cherry tomatoes, because some of them are about the right size. Now we just have to wait for them to ripen. So we'll see how those do and how long that takes. Cherry tomatoes are great because they're smaller, so they don't take as long. So that's what we have, and I would love to know what you have growing where you are, kind of how your weather's been. I know this year has been really off for us here in Northern California in Zone 9B. We have had cooler than normal temperatures. We've had some heat, cooler than normal. We had more moisture than normal, which is great. We needed the rain all winter. In containers, that didn't affect me as much, the moisture, so that is what it is. But I'm curious to see where you are, and if you've had colder than normal colder than normal or warmer than normal, or if you've had wetter than normal or drier than normal, because I've seen it kind of flip-flop all over the place on some stuff. So leave me a comment below, let me know where you are and kind of how your weather's been, how your garden's doing. And I hope that you are growing something. It is almost time. I'm actually going to sit down probably while my daughter is on her missions trip in July. I'm probably going to sit down and start planning what I need to start for fall, because some of these plants will really die out in August, July and August. And so I want to have stuff ready to go and have my plan for fall / winter, so these have enough time to grow up and do like my greens and stuff, and have them at a good size, and then I can just keep growing those and harvesting all winter long. So these planters will be used all winter. And I will have to keep fertilizing regularly, especially since I didn't replace the soil, because we were planning on hopefully moving and changing locations this summer. That did not happen. So I didn't replace the soil, so they don't have a lot of fresh nutrients. I did add stuff to them. I added compost and worm castings and all of that good stuff to it, but I'm going to have to continually feed just to keep them going, especially since the summer garden is going to take a lot of nutrients out. So stay tuned for videos like that coming up very soon. Very excited about that. The greens are one of my favorite for winter over the summer. So I mean over the winter, I love to eat soups over the winter, so I harvest the greens consistently, and we always have chicken roasting, bones boiling, and soup being made, and it's delicious, and I just love it. So stay tuned. We'll see you on the next one, and have a great rest of your week.